Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. We are your hosts, OG Mal and Khalil Almighty, and welcome to another amazing episode of The Almighty Show. Welcome back, Black brothers and sisters, kings and queens. This is another special episode, but not like the typical episode.
Hell no.
It's not. And the reason being is that it's Black History Month. Now, for Black History, we're going to be starting these episodes and doing Black-themed episodes just to celebrate our culture, celebrate our amazing history, and the amazing things that goes on in our communities. Today's episode, we're just going to start off cool, start off light, with a bunch of Did You Know facts. Because, did you know there's just a lot of different things that Black people just created, began, or were part of. We are the original humans after all. Unless I'm wrong about that, Brother Maul.
And if you was to ask me, what I got going through my mind right now, ask me, how I feel about this beautiful month.
How are you feeling about this beautiful month?
How am I feeling about this shit, man? On some real shit. If you just ask me on some real shit, and bring this a little closer, man. Fuck this month, man. Why? Why the fuck they give us the shortest month of the year? Why the fuck can we only celebrate our history 1 month of the year? And why the fuck are they still hiding things? Why the fuck are they still trying to disclose and bury our roots, our history? On some real shit. Y'all go to history class and y'all don't know half the shit that everybody else know about their culture. Fuck nah. Why the fuck we need to know about the Boston Tea Party? Fuck that.
Niggas barely like Arizona tea. That's the only tea I really fucking like.
On some real shit. Peppermint tea. If you ask any nigga about a Boston Tea Party, gonna say, was peppermint there? Fuck nah.
Nigga gonna hit you with chamomile.
I bet you ain't tell you about no damn Tulsa Massacre.
Mm-hmm.
I know damn well they didn't tell you about the Rosa Parks before Rosa Parks. Hell no. They didn't tell y'all nothing. They just tell y'all the big key people. MLK, Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, on and on. And then we right on to the next chapter of the book. They don't tell y'all shit. Hey, we about to get into it with y'all though, man. Ask y'all some stuff. Hey, gonna kick it off. Did you know? What don't I know? I'm gonna go ahead and pass the ball to you, man. What don't I know?
Okay, I'm gonna hit you with two quick reviews. The first one is that did you know the richest man in human history, Mansa Musa, the person who oversaw the kingdom of Kush, was so rich that when he was traveling through some of the towns, making his pilgrimage to Mecca, he gave out so much gold that he messed up the economy. Usually, especially nowadays, you hear people, presidents and these billionaires, they mess up the economy because of them, not paying taxes or just, outright stealing the money from the poorest of the poor. This dude messed up the economy by giving out too much gold. That's motion. That's P.
That's P.
Another fact I got for you is that did you know the Black Panther Party is the reason that we even had free food and free breakfasts at school with their rainbow program? The Black Panther Party decided to give out kids in the community and in the neighborhood free breakfasts to help with impoverishment, help with the hungry, and to overall just support the kids in the neighborhood who didn't necessarily have much to eat at home.
Every damn day, every damn morning, like clockwork, they in there eating.
Yes. And now the government, they didn't like this. They didn't like that a socialist movement like the Rainbow Project being ran by these teenagers and 20 something year old African Americans. They didn't like that they were giving out this free food and getting all this support, all this unity in the black community. So you know what they did?
What?
They stole their ideas and said, you know what, from now on, we're going to give out free lunch at school, which is a win, I guess you could say. But you know who started it? The Black Panthers.
Hey yo,
Now I'm gonna
peace,
ask you,
peace and black power.
he's in Black Panther, Power, my brother. Now I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna put the ball back in your. What are some things I don't know?
Let me tell you two quick facts, since you want to tell me two quick facts. Hey, shout out to all them ATL demons, but some of you don't know about ATL. Lake Lanier.
Mm,
Mm. What is Lake Lanier? Lake Lanier is a famous lake. Well, almost all the rich folk go to ride their little boats around, in northern Georgia, right? But what people don't know, Lake Lanier is a man-made lake. What? It's a man-made lake. It's a man-made reservoir created in the 1950s by flooding what? Several towns, including Oscarville, a once thriving black community. Okay, that's insane. Why the
crazy.
is a man-made lake on a city, on cities? Okay, now the forgotten history about Oscarville is that Oscarville was home to a lot of some of the most prominent black residents who owned land, businesses, but were violently and viciously driven out of the community in the early 1900s, right? When the lake was created, cemeteries, remnants of the town, and everything else was submerged underwater, leaving a living legacy of buried and largely overlooked people. I just find that crazy in general.
That's
Y'all know so many crazy what is it called? Scary movies and all that stuff. I wouldn't want to swim in that lake. I still haven't swum in that lake. I've been in Atlanta a decent amount of times. I have not gone to that lake.
yeah,
Hey.
that's
I feel like this is overlooked because, you know, black residents and black people that were all visiting the town and all that stuff, the destruction of the community was downplayed, and Lake Lanier has become a famous recreational spot right now. And it nowadays, since nobody talks about it, it erased so much painful history. And yeah, and a lot of stories that happen right now and are going through today, a lot of people call that the haunted lake because every summer it's always gonna be that one person. I think last summer it was like 5 people that died in that lake.
good.
You when you drown, it's like so they say it's easy to drown in that lake. I think I know why.
I was just gonna ask you, do you think that
I think I know why. I think you get in that lake, you get pulled down.
that
You got to think it's a city under there, bro. There ain't no seaweed on your feet. That's a building. That's an old house.
somebody's home?
A cemetery. My dog.
You just asking for it at this point.
Hey, on some real stuff. That's number one though, man. Lake Lanier. That's a small little thing, but it's still something big. And another one for y'all. We're gonna talk about the horrific Tulsa massacre.
Mhm.
What is the Tulsa massacre that you speak of? Oh, so King Mr. Broy. In 1921, the thriving black community of Greenwood in Tulsa, Oklahoma, often called the Black Wall Street. The Black Wall Street? Hell yeah, the Black Wall Street was destroyed by one of the worst acts in this history till today, and ain't a damn history teacher gonna tell you about it at all. It was one of the worst acts of racial violence in American history, and a white mob And Halloween was a white mob fueled by racial resentment and false accusations against a black man that attacked the whole neighborhood. Not just one person, but the whole neighborhood. And over a course of 2 days, not a week, not a month, not a year, over 2 days, homes and businesses were buried to the ground, and hundreds of black residents were killed or displaced over 2 days. Now, I don't know about y'all, but 2 days is insane. Just to be thrown out your home is insane in general. But to kill people, to kick them out their home, to do everything, why? 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 And why the fuck ain't nobody tell us this? I heard about it from my family, but I know damn well, a lot of people don't know. Aftermath. The massacre left more than 35 square blocks destroyed and thousands of black residents homeless that were once rich. Remember, this is the Black Wall Street. Survivors were denied insurance claims, and the incident was deliberately left out of history books and public discourse for decades, and still to this day. Why is it forgotten? I feel like this is forgotten because the massacre was intentionally covered up with the newspapers admitting coverage and records destroyed. They wasn't putting this shit in on New York Times. Hell no. Why would they want it in New York Times that a bunch of white people just killed a bunch of black people? Survivors and the family members of the survivors, descendants, and everything like that were all often silenced out of fear or shame. It wasn't until the late 20th century that efforts began to uncover and acknowledge the terrible, terrible tragedy. This, I feel like, is one of the most painful reminders of how systemic racism can erase Black history, Black achievements, and Black community. Man, oh man.
You would think that by now that they would either get, reparations on what happened, or we would at least acknowledge it in public schools or whatever the case was. But even to this day, that is just not the case. And if I remember correctly, the last known survivor of the Tulsa massacre lived to be 160 years old. And last year, she asked the federal government, and I get my reparations for what happened. And you know what these crack ass crackers told that lady, that
I don't
100
know.
year old lady? They told her no to her.
It's, I don't even know what you're talking about, man.
Exactly. They said, what massacre? They said, what massacre? And they waited until this lady died at the end of 2024. They waited till she passed away to be like, okay, we screwed up. We did a big oopsie job. We're going to send our condolences to all the survivors. Still no reparations. But the fact that they even just gave a little apology, oops, my bad, once she died, beyond sick, man, beyond sick. I'm a big
Yeah.
karma, and I know, you know,
Something gonna happen.
they can't.
Something gonna happen. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Man, oh man.
But I got a digital fact.
What you got, man? You got a fact or you got a story for your boy?
It's just a cool fact slash story. It's not main squeeze type of deal. You
All
feel
right, all right.
me? Did you know? Well, actually, first and foremost, I want to go to New York. You ready? Do you want to go to New York?
One day, man. One day. Everybody want to go to the bite apple and take a bite out of it.
Man, sounds like, I want to see what New York talking about.
Yep.
Main things about New York that everybody loves to talk about is Central Park.
Yeah.
Central Park. This is a huge park, by the way, huge. Uh,
Man. I think it says like I don't want to misquote it, but they said it's like 9 miles or something like that.
yeah, pretty huge. No
Yeah.
doubt. Yeah. So, you would think like this park been here forever, right? Whoa. This park used to be known as Seneca Village,
Mm-hmm.
1900s, and the mid to early 18th century, 1800s to be exact. Um, this park was known as Seneca Village. It was a community of majority Black and a third Irish immigrants. Black people in general typically went to Seneca Village because it was a prospering community that a lot of autonomous Black people went to, a lot of property owners went to once slavery was abolished in New York in 1827. So all these people are going over here. This is where they can get away from the unhealthy lifestyle of being in a big city. They went away from all the segregation, all the hate that came with being in a racist town and a huge major city. This is their safe haven, right? And they're prospering. Like I said, a lot of landowners, a lot of property owners went here. Black people, Irish people, even a little bit, if I remember correctly, Hispanic people lived here together in harmony, no problems whatsoever. Now, city of New York, they said they wanted a municipal park where people can go to escape the unhealthy lifestyle of being in a major city. Where do you think these niggas decided to place the park?
Yeah, if there was only one place that they did not like,
You hear me? Yeah, especially in the 1800s, the mid 1800s. By the time this New York came to this decision, it was like 1850-ish, you know. So these folks, they were like, okay, we want a new park. We want to place it right here in the middle of Seneca Village. And these people, they're like, you cannot do that. You cannot do that whatsoever. This is where we live. This is our homes. You're basically kicking us out. Yada yada yada. And these guys decided, yo, if you're not gonna give it to us, we gonna take it. And
hey yo,
yeah, actually that's not crazy.
hey yo,
That's kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
hey yo,
And we went home and enjoyed that, and they didn't even know it.
I didn't even know it.
Crazy. They took the land by eminent domain, and for those who don't know, it's basically when the government takes private property and uses it for public service and whatnot. So they decided to take it through eminent domain, kick all these people out their homes, and created Central Park right over it. Now, to this day, no one talks about the history of Central Park. They just love the view. They just love, oh, this is a part of New York, yada, yada, yada. But they don't understand the trauma that went into building that park, the horror these people had to face, and the injustice or the injustice that these people had to face, really, when it came,
Yeah,
having that park being built on top of their home.
yep.
You know, that's my short story for you.
Hey, and that's a crazy, crazy, crazy thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
But man, oh man, and that just goes to make me think like if we were to make an all black community, if we were to make an all black city, like everybody always talking about or whatever, what will happen? How long until it's gone? How long until it's gentrified? How long until we can't have it no more? They always talk about making this black utopia somewhere in the US where we have our own banks, we have our own schools, we have our own grocery stores, on and on and on. But for how long? How long until somebody comes and burn that shit down? And now everybody back on their ass.
Mm-hmm. Because they always say history don't repeat, it rhymes.
And so, you
Recovery,
know, how long?
exactly. We're known for bombing black communities. We're known for up, doing a big upheaval when it comes to thriving community. I'm just, yeah, it ain't gonna be looking too good if we were able to actually pull that off.
Yeah. And on some real shit, I hate this. But after seeing all these stories that we about to get into now, we've been in talking about, a lot of people always say it's a white man's world, a black man just living here. We got to take back and make it the black man's world, a white man just living here. If you go back and trace back history, I think they say black people were around for 7 million years, not 7 million years, 7,000 or something like that. Africans, that's what, it all originated from. And you trace back the white man's lineage, the European lineage, they only been here, I think, like 4,700 years or something like that. And it's like goddamn. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. But let's get into some other facts, some other stories for y'all, man.
Mm.
Um, which
Let's,
one you want to do, man?
let's start off slight. Let's start off with the butter.
With the what?
Start off with butter pecan. Let's
All right, all right. Hey, how many of y'all like that butter pecan?
my grandma will put me on.
I ain't gonna lie, I just started liking it, bro. That shit pressure.
Not
And on
my.
some real, on some like freak shit, man. You put a little caramel over the top, bro. Oh god. I'm like, oh god.
Hey, yo, hey, yo.
Hey, flag on the play. Also, unnecessary
15
roughness.
yard penalty, excessive horniness, repeat first down.
Hey, yo. Nah, that butter pecan something different. That shit get me active, boy. I'm like,
Oh,
but no, man. What's the little history on butter pecan, man?
well, so back in the day, back in the
Back in the day,
slave, a lot more very beings. Blacks weren't allowed to eat vanilla ice cream.
not at all.
We weren't allowed to eat it because it was seen as too pure, too white. The only days we could eat it was July 4th, which is
And why the fuck is that the only day that we can eat the white man's ice cream? July 4th.
the reason we cannot eat it on any other day outside of July 4th is because July 4th was a day to celebrate freedom. You heard that right. Freedom.
Freedom.
Make it make sense? I don't know.
I don't know.
Who knows? Hey, I don't know. But they can only eat it on July 4th. So in order to combat this, black people, we're just so creative, we're just so smart. We're very intuitive and innovative when it comes to just using the stuff around us to better ourselves, better our lives and whatnot. They decided that we can't eat vanilla ice cream. It's seen as pure, too white, too pure for us to eat. So how about this? We spice it up a little bit. Let's melt some butter. Let's put in some roasted pecans in that mug, so it wouldn't be seen as white. It's not going to be seen as pure. Now, ever since then, ever since that fated day, whoever decided that was gonna be busting, like whoever just created that shit in their mind and said this was gonna slap, you did your big one. You did
It,
your big one.
let's take it back. Let's take one step back before we move forward.
Step back.
It's not like black Americans couldn't eat ice cream at all. You know what they had to eat? You know what they had to suffer and eat?
They have to eat, bro.
Chocolate ice cream. Who the fuck on chocolate ice cream? That guy right there.
We gonna stop the chocolate ice cream slander. Chocolate ice cream be busting.
That shit buns.
Bust.
That shit buns. I tear up some chocolate milk.
Fudge and some brownie pieces in it. That shit
Fudge.
bust.
Fudge. What are you, the fat boy on with Matilda, nigga?
Yes. That
Nigga
chocolate
say
from Matilda look delicious.
you a grown ass man talking about you like fudge.
Bro, you like caramel.
I love caramel. Hey,
Better than caramel, my dog.
you're wild. Hey, go in the comments. Tell me caramel is better than fudge and this nigga, this old ass man is tweaking, bro.
Let's let this nigga know.
But that's the history, man. The black people were only allowed to eat vanilla. I mean, only allowed to eat vanilla on 4th of July, but were forced to eat chocolate ice cream. And when butter pecan came about, man, it was on that like none other. That's why everybody had that in their kitchen. That's why they was raised on it. They was raised. So your grandparents, they was raised on butter pecan because they parents had, butter pecan in the crib. It was either chocolate or butter pecan. And I know my damn man. I'm taking that butter pecan. Throw that chocolate back. Put that back in the stove, bro.
That's the old my nigga. You wanted to milk?
I said in the store, man.
Well, I was gonna say, bro. My shit so deep.
But it's a lot of impacts on this small little story. Why? I feel like it was cultural resilience. We wasn't just gonna stand there and just eat chocolate ice cream. Man, if that was the only thing I could eat, I wouldn't eat that shit. Like on some real shit. I'd make my own little flavor. Maybe a vanilla cinnamon, or a cinnamon caramel, or something like that. Something different. But I feel like the exclusion of vanilla ice cream led to the popularity of butter pecan within black communities, and this is just one powerful example of how creating joy amidst adversity. We do this a lot. We create joy amidst all the problems that come our way, all the adversity that come our way, and it just brings. I hate to say it, but it brings us close together. And it's just one way of how we developed our own traditions. We developed our own preferences in response to this damn systemic racism that is as simple as a fucking dessert. I'm not talking about, trying to take a fucking loan out. That's systemic racism. I'm talking about your own fucking crib, your own damn dessert that you eating at your house. Hell no. And I wonder, people look so down on Kim Jong Un because he can bust up in somebody's house and take, if they ain't got the picture of him up, or if they eating this, they thrown out. What would happen if a white man bust up into our house in the 1920s and we had some vanilla ice cream? And we gonna get into how vanilla ice cream came about because it wasn't no damn white man that made the vanilla ice cream. Hell no. And I bet you didn't know that.
I didn't. Who created it?
And we gonna get into that, man. But go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, this is just a little sidebar. I'm not gonna make this a long story, but the reason why black people love seasoning is because in slavery they were often given the expired meat or meat that was way past, good to eat. And so you know what they did? They put on different salts and different seasonings to preserve.
It was herbs back then. It wasn't no season salt. It wasn't no Lawry's and nothing like that. It was the herbs.
Those seasonings, bro, the old bay or something. It was salt. They put on meat in order to season it. I mean, in order to preserve the meat so it was safe to eat. And now we got niggas like meals by Maul.
Meals by mall, mouthful of mall, bro.
Maul.
But getting back into it, man. The psychological impact. I feel like the psychological impact was denying access to vanilla ice cream was a symbol of the American dream. It reinforced the idea that Black Americans were excluded, not included, excluded from societal ideals of equality and liberty. And that damn July 4th that everybody loves celebrating is just a rare exception and a bitter reminder of systemic hypocrisy. And Frederick Douglass get into this in his little book, but we're gonna say that for another episode one day. Who knows? Um and I feel like this story just shine a light on how racism extended beyond laws and extended into our everyday cultural practices. And it shows how deeply entrenched these attitudes were in shaping our societal dynamics and shaping our society. Now, you say amazing, who made this amazing vanilla ice cream? Two people. All right. Now, the first person who came to the cultivation of vanilla itself, his name is Edmund Albus. He was an enslaved black child that revolutionized the cultivation of vanilla with his hand pollination method, and it's a process that's still used today. So you telling me niggas wouldn't even have this vanilla that we eat so much, this vanilla bean that we wouldn't love so much if it wasn't for an enslaved black child?
Hmm.
Man, man. And number two, now this guy Augustus Jackson, shout out to my pops for telling me the story, but Augustus Jackson was a child chef working in the White House. What do you mean? 10 years old is when he started being a chef in the White House. Now, mind you, he could have just been, a little kid dabbling, but he worked there for 27 years before he left and started his own little ice cream business. And I believe it was in Baltimore or Philadelphia, one of those. But Augustus Jackson is known as the father of ice cream because he made the manufacturing process a lot easier for the dessert so it could be processed ever so whatever.
Mhm.
Before Augustus came around, did y'all know eggs was in ice cream? Hell no. Who the fuck putting eggs in ice cream? No. Augustus made it so, you didn't have to put no eggs in ice cream. Augustus made it so that you could manufacture this on a larger scale, making it so a lot of, ice cream companies could come about. Ice cream trucks could come about. On and on and on. But
So
don't nobody talk about them. Hell no. Why you need to know? I'm gonna tell you who made peanut butter.
I didn't know that.
Everybody know that. Don't nobody know about that vanilla. Vanilla goes in so much shit that you wouldn't even know it, man. And so I want to know what else aren't they telling us?
That,
Hey, um, and I go on and on and on about this, man. But I feel like the contributions of these black inventors like Edmund, like Augustus, and like everybody else, it all leads to the development of vanilla ice cream. It leads to the development of vanilla and ice cream, and is rarely highlighted in mainstream history. Um, and it just reflects the broader trend of erasing and minimizing Black history in general. That's what I feel like.
you not lying. You are not lying at all.
Hey.
Um, Another example of that would be something that we all know and love, especially those who love to snack on stuff. Potato chips.
Potato chips.
Now,
Don't break it to me, man. What you gotta say about potato chips?
or not, in the 1850s, same time period as Seneca Village being taken over, man. New York was on some shit back in the 1800s. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But back in 1850s, in Montego Lake or Senegal Lake, something like that. I can't remember the specific name of the city. It was a man who worked in a diner. His name was George Crump. Now he was a cook, typical fry cook, you know. And back in the day, this is like right after slavery ended in New York, so people were still very prejudiced. That's how it is for a little
You
minute.
said 1850?
Yeah, the 1850s.
Nah, so slavery's still on.
No, in New York it was abolished, 1827.
Oh yeah, in New York. Yep.
So this white man, came into his diner and he asked for some fries, burger, the typical stuff I guess you would order at a diner. And so Mr. Crumb, he decided to cook him up, some fries, a burger. He went to go serve it out to him. Now this white man, being a dickhead, was like, "Yo, hey, N-word, these fries are too damn thick, boy." And so he's like, "Oh, he's taking it back." He's like, "Yo, this is my diner. You coming into my stuff and telling me my fries are too thick? That's kind of crazy. Not gonna lie." So he takes them back, cuts them thinner, give it back. Customer says it again. "Hey, yo, the hell I just tell you, boy, these fries are too damn thick." I guess they did not like thick shit back then. Couldn't be me. But
Like that thing shit, huh?
you hear me? I am a thick shit enthusiast. But this Crumb goes back to the fire, and this time he decides to be funny. He tried to play a joke. He tried to cut the fry so thin that is like you damn near insulted them. But to his surprise, the dude that was an asshole was like, "Yo, this shit right here, this shit
This shit
bomb.
right here. This shit right here, cuz.
Oh, this shit right here, cuz. This one of them ones." He was surprised. George Crumb was surprised. He was like, "Yo, I was trying to play a joke on you. What are you talking about?" He asked George Crumb to make him a bag of those. So what did he do? He pays George Crumb to give him a bag of what he just made. Out of spite at that, he left, and word got around in New York. Yo, this dude, he doing some new shit with potatoes, man. I didn't think potatoes were gonna have a new DLC, but here they are. So uh, after that, potato chips got so popular, he decided to just put out bags of chips on all his tables at the diners. And what do you know? Unfortunately, he did not patent his idea because I'm thinking about that, especially as black folks back then.
Yep. I'm finna pat my jerk Alfredo, boy. I'm put the recipe out for everybody. I'm finna pat that motherfucker though.
Pay you 5% of all your sales. Right.
30. 30.
30 was down. That nigga Suge Knight.
I tax it.
But the reason that you got them barbecue Pringles or them sweet sour sweet
Barbecue Pringles. That's the first chip that come to mind, brother.
nuts, brother, man, there's some crazy people out here. You would be surprised. But the reason you got your plain Lay's, the sour cream and onion Lay's, sweet honey barbecue Fritos is because of George Crumb and
Mm.
petty. Yeah, so see, there's a life lesson in this. Sometimes you just gotta be petty. You never know about the come up you can do from being petty.
Yeah.
But before we get into one, did you have another one before the one we both had? You have another?
I do. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. I do. This next one is about the lady I talked about at the beginning of the episode, the beautiful and the wonderful Rosa Parks. Yeah, okay. Everybody know about Rosa Parks. You can't tell me nothing I didn't know about Rosa Parks. Did you know there was not one, but there was two people that was Rosa Parks before Rosa Parks came? Now, of course, everybody always hear from, here and there about the also famous Claudette Colvin. 1955, she was the first person to refuse to give up her seat. Okay, let's give the backstory on Claudette. Miss Claudette in March 1955, 9 months before Rosa Parks came about, she was 15 years old and she refused to give up her seat to a white passenger on the segregated bus. She was arrested and became one of the first plaintiffs in the landmark Browder versus Gale case, which ultimately ended bus segregation in Alabama.
Hmm.
So why don't we hear about this lady at all? Why not? At the time, civil rights leaders felt like Rosa Parks, an older, lighter skinned woman, was a more respectable image and would be a better symbol for the movement. Claudette's youth, darker skin, and later pregnancy as a teenager made her a less palatable figure for mainstream media, but her bravery was still a pivotal moment in the fight against rights and equality.
I call that.
So I do find that very crazy. Um, so was it the white man holding back the history, or was it us?
Well, in a way, I mean, obviously it's us, you know, doing that. But in the grand scheme of things, slavery and the division of black folks from like house slaves to slaves, really brought about colorism in the black community. So if you want, you could say white folk. You could say they're the reason that it's not even talked about because of the colorism that was ingrained into black people's head. But
Yeah,
you
I do like that viewpoint.
know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
And getting to the first lady. 1854, almost 100 years before Claudette. Oh, it is 100 years before. 1854. Now, ain't no buses going around back then. Ain't no buses going around, nothing like that. And I don't know how they was transporting around. I guess, everybody on them horses and all that stuff. But and none other than Khalil's favorite city in New York City.
Mhm.
We have a young lady named Elizabeth Jennings Graham in 1854, 100 years before Rosa Parks, 100 years before Elizabeth Jennings, a black school teacher in New York City, was forcibly removed from a streetcar because of her race. She sued the streetcar company and won with the help of a lawyer, a young Chester Arthur, who would later become the 21st U.S. president. Now, ain't that something? Her victory led to the desegregation of New York City's public transit system, making her one of the earliest civil rights heroes. Yet her story is rarely taught in schools and celebrated in mainstream history. So, a couple crazy things from Elizabeth herself. One, streetcars are probably, the cars that are towed around by horses. Um, so that's that. But no, her lawyer was a U.S. president. Her lawyer became a U.S. president. I find that insane.
Crazy.
In New York City. Why did everything happen in New York City, bro?
You got ninjas there. Motherfucker, see,
You got Biggie there and everything, bro. Like,
Diddy, all them.
hey yo, not your boy, not your boy.
Big.
But I just find all of this oh so crazy. How everything trickled down from 100 years until this. It's still in place. You still can get kicked out of your seat because of the color of your skin. Man, oh man. But I feel like all of those women's contributions were just downplayed and ignored in favor for a more streamlined narrative. And Rosa Parks did become the dominant one, leaving Elizabeth and Claudette in the shadows. Yeah. I feel like they all played crucial roles in the fight against segregation. I feel like they all played crucial roles you know, in equality of where it is now. But I feel like it's important to remember the women that contributed as well. The women who came before her and the women that paved the way for her. And that's just not taught at all.
One thing I do want to say, I understand it, guys. Black history, especially the ones that we are taught, it's not necessarily the happiest of endings. It's like an episode of Black Mirror, to be honest with you.
For real, for real.
But to lighten things up, we all, well, especially me and all, we all love us some good dark liquor. You feel me? I'm a cognac type of guy.
Hey, I love that whiskey, boy.
Let me all started off with, you know, Hennessy or Crown or whatnot. I'm gonna
Jack
get
Dan- Jack Daniels too, boy.
it. Exactly. Now the cognac I want to focus is Hennessy.
Mm, that hen dog.
Hell, do black people love Hennessy?
That henny in me. Let me chill out. Let me chill out.
Watching you. Now, funny enough, you mentioned whiskey. Did you know that whiskey was named after a Confederate general?
Mm,
Because of this, black people were sort of opposed to drinking because why would we drink on something that was named after the ops? It's not like you smoking in his pack or anything. Like you're drinking to celebrate this.
man, drinking his lineage.
Yeah.
Pause.
Hey, yo, a fucking yo. That was kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie. That was not crazy. That's crazy. But in a sense, yeah, facts. You drinking his legacy. But back then during World War One,
Mm,
a bunch of black people became soldiers for the United States to fight on our behalf overseas, things of that nature. So one thing about World War One, it happened during the rise of jazz.
mm-hmm.
Timelines match up. So while these black soldiers they were over in France, they're going into the bars and they're listening to jazz because that's the music that's on the rise. And if you think about it, Hennessy is a French company, for those who didn't know. Now, these soldiers, they go into these jazz clubs, these jazz bars, and only thing that they've been drinking on, only thing that they like is the hen dog. Yeah, hey, yo, can you give me some of that from that top shelf? Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now, when the war was over, France gave every black soldier a bottle of Hennessy
Mm.
to their loyalty and to their fight for the winning side of the system. Believe it or not. So black soldiers, they brought their loyalty to this drink, to this distillery, back to the states. And believe it or not, even to this day, um, United States, the demographic in the United States make up 97% of its profits, and it's a French company at that. You know, but these black soldiers, they come back to the states from World War One. They bring in their hand dog with them, as a sign of their loyalty and shit. You feel me? So, after World War II, yada, 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 we get through that, we win. Hooray. In 1951, you know, as all these years are going by, the popularity and the notoriety of Hennessy is rising. 1951, Hennessy was one of the first national companies to advertise specifically towards black consumers. And they did this through black magazines like Ebony, Jet, and they also had black spokespeople too. That was unheard of during segregation, especially during Jim Crow. So it was unpopular at the time. So it showed that they are not afraid to do the unpopular thing. Now, they were also one of the first national companies to have a black man as their vice president, Mr. Herb Douglas. Now, on top of them just breaking barriers, especially early on in the midst of civil rights, before civil rights was a real movement, they were always showing their commitment towards black people. And it wasn't like, other stories we're going to get into later, where it was like, oh, should we do this? I don't know. Fuck it, let's just do it. Let's see what happens type shit. They went out of their way to hire a black vice president. They went out of their way to target black consumers specifically. And even to this day.
Even to this damn day, boy.
First corporate sponsors for the NAACP, along with being a founding funder of the African American Museum, crazy. And along with both of those, they have a program where they fund a program basically to help build up black entrepreneurs. And so because of all of that, because of the cultural, I guess you could say alignment, them showing solidarity with black folks, you have black people, growing up drinking that nonstop. I'm saying they alcoholics, but
I know somebody we close with that love that hen dog, boy.
Oh God, I think we do. I think we do though, somebody. But and all in all, Hennessy throughout the years is constantly brought up in songs, rap songs specifically, and you got Nas being one of the people overseeing like the creative department or one of
shaking my head, man.
I forgot you got a Nas hater over here, but still,
that nigga bomb.
Hennessy still makes a name for itself and still aligns itself with the black community, and it's done that since the very start of it being introduced and it being exposed to black consumers. So shout out Hennessy.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you who not to shout out. Jack Daniels. Now Hennessy saw the black population and was like, hey, this our crowd. We gonna make our money at the end of the day. We're not trying to be too greedy. We hear about all the little racist shit, whatever. Jack Daniels said, fuck all that noise.
Right.
I know who I want to sell to. And we're gonna go from there. So the history of Jack Daniels and how it became America's most famous whiskey in the whole world. Jack and Coke. That's in like on some real shit. Like at one point, Jack Daniels, I still think is one of America's most famous whiskeys ever. And how did we come up with this also amazing recipe for Jack Daniels? I'm gonna tell you how. Nearest Green. His first name is Nathan, my bad. Nathan Nearest Green. He was an enslaved black man back in the day and was the true creator of the signature process of how we have Jack Daniels right now. Green mentored Jack Daniel in teaching him the Lincoln County process, which is the process that they use to make the whiskey and all that different stuff. But it's ultimately a charcoal filtering technique that gave whiskey the iconic smoothness, color, taste, all that different stuff. And after Emancipation Proclamation, Green became one of Jack Daniel's first master distillers and was a ground and had a groundbreaking role in America's whiskey history. Despite his contributions, Green role was remained largely unacknowledged for over a century, and it wasn't until 2016 until The Secret came out. Damn, 2016. How long ago was Jack Daniels made, man? Huh? Huh?
I was gonna say 2016. That's around the time I found out.
Yes.
When I found out that was new information to the public.
New information to the public. You
That's
wasn't late. They just didn't say that at all until the family made them say that. And so we're gonna get into all the impacts of, this happening and all that different stuff. The cultural impacts, I feel like, was this story just highlights the significant but often overlooked contributions of African Americans in the American industries, including whiskey, including ice cream, including everything, electricity, on some real stuff. And I feel like acknowledging Green's legacy helps rectify historical, erase, helps rectify the historical um, history that has been erased, and it gives credit where credit is due. Economically, Green's innovation was the reason that Jack Daniel's company has been saved. Green's innovation saved Jack Daniels from being another local whiskey and helped make it one of the most popular whiskeys in the world, not just the US, in the world. His descendants now play a central role in the reason why we have this amazing whiskey called Uncle Nearest. We're going to get into that. Uncle Nearest was founded by Fawn Weaver and has become a symbol of equality and black entrepreneurship. Who is Fawn Weaver? Fawn Weaver is the reason that in 2016 the information broke loose.
mm,
She's the reason that his story has gained national attention and prompting Jack Daniels to brand in honor of Green's legacy. She's the reason why. Now, I feel like this isn't talked about for a lot of reasons. Why? What's the big reason? Because it's just showing how black people helped create it a lot. How black people did have a big imprint, a much more imprint in today's society than people fail to realize, and how enslaved people were rarely credited for their skills, for their contributions, and their work, even when it did blow up to become so famous, it was often unrecorded and intentionally at that. Corporately, Jack Daniels, like many other companies, avoided discussing the early ties to enslaved labor and focused on a white founder to appeal to mainstream audiences. They didn't want to be tied to that. Don't nobody want to be tied to that. And so, yeah, that's that. All the companies, like, I don't know too many, but all the companies that did profit off of slaves, they cut ties immediately. They erase that from the history books. They erase that from the history timelines if you go to their factories, because all them companies that was profiting off of that, they don't want to, have that on their conscience. I want to say, even though it's a part of their history, they don't want to talk about it. And I feel like black innovators like Green were often excluded from ownership or wealth building opportunities. And, that limit their abilities to control their own narrative. Who gonna believe somebody that ain't got nothing?
right.
All right. So I want to ask you, why do you think it took over a century plus, for Green's story to come to light?
Uh, them running away from their history. Them not wanting to give credit to black people.
Yeah.
On their ugly truths.
Yep. And it's simple as that. Um, and it's just so sad. But I love to see what that company is doing now. I love to see where it is now and what company am I talking about? I'm talking about Uncle Nearest. I want nah. If you're over the age of 21, go out there and go get you some Uncle Nearest. You like smooth whiskey, you like whiskey, go pour it over some ice, try it out, and you're gonna see why it's amazing. That company came out in 2016 and it is one of the fastest growing independent whiskey brands in US history. Why? That shit is amazing. I love it. I got me a bottle in the crib right now. And let's get into the history of this company. Uh, I say history, it is rather new, whatever, whatever. But the brand, the company, it employs Green's descendants and is led by his great great granddaughter, Victoria Butler, who serves as the master distiller. What? Victoria Butler is the master distiller, like her great great grandfather was
Mm,
for Jack Daniels.
that's crazy.
Man. And since it has came out in 2016, it has won 3 awards, 3 years back to back to back, 2019, 2020, and 2021. It was the most awarded American whiskey brand, and it got its accolades.
Really,
Damn.
it's hard.
Goddamn.
That's hard.
And Jack Daniels being Jack Daniels, they're like, all right, y'all got the truth out. Let's talk. Let's talk business, man. And so Fawn Weaver's company, Uncle Nearest, it partnered with Jack Daniels a couple times, and partnering with them, they try to support African American entrepreneurs in the spirits or the wine industry, the whiskey industry, alcohol industry, whatever. And it provides resources, expertise, and shit, I love my young too.
That's right.
And with this success of the company, it just brought a lot of attention to the history. But it's crazy. It's insane.
It is. It really is, bro.
Yeah.
Last story though.
What you got for me, dog?
Why does black why do black people love Cadillacs?
On some real shit. They just one of them ones, bro.
When I was shopping for my car, for some reason, the inner black person in me, like, I want an XTS. I want a Cadillac XTS. I want to be by the smooth, it can be 10 and 5, yada, yada, yada.
I want that Escalade boy, on some real shit.
That's when I'm a dad. That's a different.
As up there. When I make it, I know I made it. I'm getting that Escalade on some real stuff. Like you can offer me a Porsche, I'd rather take the Escalade. I know it's a hot take. I know it's crazy, all that. I don't want the Porsche. I want the Escalade. Escalade V. That's what it's called.
Mm.
Motherfucker. Hemi in that mother.
Why do black people love Cadillacs? Well, let's go
Hey,
off that to
go ahead.
cars and stuff was still popping off. There was different car companies popping up left and right. One of those companies that spawned from General Motors was Cadillac.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at first, because it was a luxury brand, only whites could buy Cadillacs, which I'm not surprised. It's the 1920s. You know what I'm saying? It is. So back in the 1920s, you know what happened right after the 1920s? Like what followed at the tail end? The Great Depression.
God damn.
Great Depression hit. Uh, White people couldn't afford them. They had all their money in the bank, and all the banks was crashing. And the only people that was able to afford them were the elite and the wealthy black folks. You know why? Because they couldn't put their money in the banks to begin with. So they
Yeah.
cool.
So they good. That little mattress trick that y'all be using, that's where it came from. We couldn't put it in no banks.
You gotta put it under your mattress. Awesome
Oh
shit.
God. Your house burned down? Rapsky.
Oh God. I hope so. But yeah, black people they were able to afford it. And the people at Cadillac found out that they were able to afford it. They found out that black people were paying $300 at the time for white people to buy Cadillacs for them. So like
Yeah.
it's the 1930s. Cadillac is doing terrible in business. They lost like 85% of revenue. in just 5 years because of the Great Depression. They're going through it. So now they're in a meeting. All the executive folks are in a meeting. They're like, yo, we might have to close this business down. We're filing for bankruptcy, yada, yada, yada. It's not looking too good because their main target audience can't even afford the shit. Now, that all was true until the general manager came in. And he had an idea. His idea was, what if we gave black people the chance to buy our vehicles? Now, this is
Mm.
popular at the time. Segregation is still a thing. And at first, they were opposed to it. They was not rocking with that idea whatsoever until
They safe. What? No, I ain't doing that, boy.
no, they emphasized the elf. But they quickly learned that these elite, these wealthy black folks were paying $300, which was above market price for the Cadillacs anyway. They paying $300 to white people so they can just drive it around as a status symbol. Why don't you tell them, what happened once they became the first integrated?
And, and y'all thinking 300, that's a pair of rock revivals. Y'all thinking 300, that's some Yeezys, something like that. Nah, 300 back then was 3K. 3K plus now. Imagine paying somebody 3K just so they can go buy a car for you. And you still paying for the car, don't get me wrong. But, what happened when the black people got to tap into the industry? Immediately, it was a 70% sales increase by 1934. 1934, damn. Off rip, which saved Cadillac from that damn collapse that was about to take place. And this decision to sell to African Americans, it marked the beginning of a deep, deep relationship between Cadillac and African American community. The relationship still continues today, with models like the Escalade being one of the favorites. The what's that? SRX being one of the favorites. On and on amongst black buyers. Let's break down some of the numbers, man. Did you know today that not black Americans, but black buyers in general have a 57% preference for Cadillac compared to any other demographic?
Hmm.
Damn.
Over half.
Damn. And it was a lot of impacts on the economy and all that stuff. Cadillac's decision itself, it didn't just say the brand; it also highlighted the economic power of the African American community, which I feel like paved the way for other companies to recognize and cater to diverse markets. They like, damn, you know, Cadillac making all these people off the African Americans. Shit, let's offer them a little something. Why not? But it also showed for Black Americans that owning a Cadillac, it became more than just a status symbol. It was a way to assert success and break through societal barriers. Celebrities like Sugar Ray Robinson, Red Fox. I hope y'all know about Red Fox. On and on and on. They proudly own them Cadillacs, and it just further like locked it into black culture. I feel like. Next thing, over time, Cadillac became a main feature in black professionals and families in its advertisements, reflecting a broader shift toward diversity and inclusion in marketing. This approach influenced how other brands targeted minority groups. And with this approach, them putting us in, commercials and all that different stuff and catering towards African Americans, shit helped them out. It still help them out today. Um, yeah. I feel like a lot of people that's that I made it car, that Escalade or that Cadillac. Some real shit. That's
They, got a little entourage of security following them around.
yeah.
They riding it.
Yeah. Them celebrities, they in a blacked out, iced out Escalade.
Yeah.
They ain't no Ford F-150. Hell no. Ain't no Americans brand Chevrolet. Hell no. They in that caddy.
Luxury for working.
That caddy. One thing I can say is I feel like Cadillac's initial refusal to sell to black buyers, it just, shows again that systemic racism that was in place. Yet black Americans found a way to own these cars, showing their resilience, showing their determination, and showing that they're gonna get what they want at the end of the day. All it takes is a little bread.
Think
All
about
it takes is a little money on. And yeah, yeah.
every single fact that we've told in this episode. That all of that stuff impacts us today. Whether it's your favorite food, whether it's what you're snacking on, what you're drinking on, what you're riding in, all this stuff, all this black history, all these little known facts has an effect on us, whether we know it or not. That's why it's important to know where you come from, your lineage. Your lineage does not start at slavery like the school books tell you. We have a very storied, very beautiful, and very rich history.
Yes.
We continue to expand your knowledge when it comes to that.
Man. And I feel like by revisiting this history, we honor the resilience of the community. We honor the pain of the community. We honor everything that has constantly shaped the industry, shaped the culture, shaped our world as we have it today. And, even in the face of systemic barriers, we still gonna prevail at the end of the day. Yeah.
That's
The next time you see a Cadillac, next time you see some Escalade, next time you finna drink that hen dog, next time you about to get on a bus, next time you about to move into a new city, next time you finna get in Lake Lanier, on and on and on. I want you to think on the deep, enduring legacy behind it. Yeah, you don't know until you go look.
you really don't. Now, as always, my black brothers, sisters, even our allies, you can always like, comment, share, subscribe, and actually comment down below your favorite Black History fact. We are your hosts, Brother Almighty, Brother Mal. We'll talk to you next time. Only on the Almighty Show.